Welcome to the Hellenic Center, and I want to thank the center for inviting me to present some of my music tonight, and also for the Cyprus High Commission and their kind words. I want to say a few things about the basics in music. Of course, it's not everything, and it can't be everything. Not everything is explainable, but there are some aspects that we can talk about and we can build on. So this is what I will try and show you tonight. It's a short talk, but I hope it might explain one or two things. Is this a melody? Not quite. It's a bit too short. But we have in music 12 different notes, 12 pitches. These. That's all we have. But we have them higher up or lower down. But the notes are only 12, there aren't more. So when we have a sequence of notes, we start doing something. For instance, I'm taking 4 notes. Look what one can do if I apply rhythm to these 4 notes. And if I use 5 notes, so I've coupled a melody with rhythm. And if I introduce harmony as well, then you get the whole packet. That's the beginning. But now we come to the next aspect, which is rhythm. Does everyone know where rhythm comes from? What is the basis of rhythm? It is somewhere here. Yes, it's the human heart, which races and makes us feel excited, agonizing, and at times worrying. But the other aspect is when we have quieter times in music, tranquil times, things which are more beautiful and calming, and we make use of that also in music. We copy the heartbeat in a way. So I want to show something from the way the rhythm affects music. Here is the rhythm. Famous wedding march by Wagner from Lohengrin. One more example, another rhythm. And so on. And a very famous rhythmic moment, which I think you will recognize. Yes. I don't need to say much more about that one. Supposedly, it's not Beethoven who quotes this, but people later said it must be fate knocking on your door and warning you Bad times are coming. Now, I will still use the Happy Birthday tune, complete, but I will do something to it. So, I've ruined it on purpose to show you what harmony can do if it's not the right harmony for the right tune. This is where I want to prove to you that those three elements work in tandem. They don't work on their own. And so if you disturb one, you're disturbing the outcome of everything. What I've done in my left hand, which is where we play the accompaniment usually on the piano, is I've used chords. This is a chord. This is another chord. And this is another one. What happens is, maybe in ancient times in Greece, there was someone called Pythagoras who was very curious about things. He delved in mathematics, in other disciplines, and as far as music is concerned, he discovered something very far-reaching for us. For instance, he took a very long string and plucked it. And he got something like that. But because he was quite clever, he listened very carefully, and he realized, together with this one note, there are some other notes sounding as well, but very softly. And it eventually developed into what we call the harmonic row in music. And it sounds like this. As it climbs, the intervals get closer and closer. But when we take the first 5 notes, this is my chord, what we call C major chord amongst musicians. You'll tell me, well, you have 12 notes, now you have 12 chords. It's not quite true, because I can build on every single note, but I can also build 4 notes instead of just this. I can build this. Well, it's still not enough. Now I can do something quite revolutionary. I take the chord and I change the middle note. That gives me now a huge opening to describe sadness, anxiety, dramatic moments in music, because the minor chord is dark and it's sad, and it gives me another opportunity to express music in a different way. So we have 12 chords, then we have another 12, and so it goes on. But music is colored by all these things, as I showed you before, melody and rhythm, and the chords also have their role to play. Coming towards the end of what I can say tonight is the fact that some things are explainable. But if you ask me, can you explain why Mozart is a genius? I cannot, because it goes beyond intellectual explanation. He was very gifted, very imaginative. He had wonderful craftsmanship to write music. He was very quick, and in those 30-odd years that he lived, he produced over 1,000 works. We know 600, but about 400 have been lost because his father, realizing that this is a special sort of child, traveled all over Europe to introduce him to kings and dukes and aristocracy. They wanted to see him play and improvise. So we don't have all his works now. But if I have to make a comparison, which is not quite fair, there is a big difference between the works of Mozart and the works of Offenbach, for instance. They don't compare because these great musicians had special gifts, not just the gifts that you learn when you study music. That's not enough. So, in the end, we have to decide which are the important works, what have we been left, and I dare say that a lot of the 300 years of music tradition are still the main body of music that we love and appreciate, and so on. There have been huge experiments in the 20th century, but it hasn't been as important, maybe, and it's not the music that has sort of given us that feeling that music is very special, which it is. So to finish, I'm offering you a quote. When the angels sing in the heavens, they sing Mozart. But when God sits at the organ, he plays Bach. Thank you.